6 minutes after 10 o'clock. Robin, you and I have been doing radio a long time, and gosh, I feel like it was. I feel like I was a little kid. Literally. This is how far back I'm going with this memory. But I remember getting a letter, or maybe it was even a postcard, and it was a proposal from the Polaroid company to take pictures of kids in the community, and then put their fingerprints on a card and have a little event.
Yeah.
And we talked about it. You and I talked about it, and I said, yeah, let's do this. So we contacted whoever it was that sent it to us, and they sent us this box, or maybe more than one box, loaded with Polaroid film.
Yeah.
I think they sent two or three cameras, right?
Two
Polaroid cameras. And all of these cards that had some kind of writing on it, some kind of information. And then the big work was up to us. We had to arrange to have an event.
Which we did.
And long story short, we had the event at the local library, which is not even there anymore.
Different location.
The building is there, but yeah. And kids were coming in the whole time we were there, and one after another, we were taking their picture, putting them into the folder, getting their fingerprints, putting that into the folder. Mm-hmm. The mom and dad would write down the information on the card, and they would take it with them.
Yeah,
we didn't keep anything. It was part of the whole thing, and it cost us nothing. It was the Polaroid Corporation, I guess, that did that. Times have changed. We've become more sophisticated. Cameras are better and smaller, and the pictures are clearer.
Yeah.
Mark Bott is on the phone. He's a child safety advocate. He worked on the Amber Alert. How impressive is that? He also worked on Megan's Law. He hosted over 100 child safety town meetings. So while we did one, he did over 100 of them. He's worked with the John Walsh Foundation. I actually worked with John Walsh himself. We had John on a couple times, didn't we?
Yeah, we have.
And of course, everybody knows John is the father of Adam Walsh, who was kidnapped and murdered. Horrible, horrible story that catapulted John into the world of trying to make a difference regarding that kind of thing. He's also one of the leaders in law enforcement, legislative, and he's a teacher. Wow, he's got his plate full. Mm-hmm. He wants to talk to us about something similar to the thing we did all those years ago in the dinosaur age, called Operation KidSafe. It's a child safety event happening here in Ocala on September 6th.
Yep.
From 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We'll let him fill in the blanks because there's probably a lot of questions. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Where are you right now?
I'm Springfield, Illinois. I just actually got back late last night from New York and was in West Palm before that, kicking off some different things that we're doing around the country.
My goodness, you're like traveling all over the place.
I was gone for 6 days. I'm glad to be back.
Oh, wow. So how's the weather in Illinois right now?
Not too shabby. It's a little overcast, about 72 degrees, so we're liking it.
Oh, excellent. You've been doing a lot of stuff. Our experience with this was one time, and it was I hope you heard the intro. It was with
yes, I did.
An old. Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't old at the time. It was a Polaroid camera, and
whole different deal now.
Yeah. So what is the difference now? Is the information still? When it's all collected the way I described it, is it still in the possession of the parents or guardians, or does it go online somewhere?
Good. I can give you that whole description. We started Operation KidSafe 13 years ago. We have safeguarded over 1 million children in North America. We do these programs in all over the U.S., Canada, and Puerto Rico. With that said, we set two rules originally. One, it has to be free and inclusive for every family. So we've done this over 1 million repetitions, and a parent has never taken a nickel out of their pocket. Number two, it has to be private. So we do not ask for names of children. We do not compile any information. We don't even approve of it being done on site now. Just because, if the parent would happen to take a stop at a restaurant next or something and leave that form, it's sort of a trail with too much information on it. So here's what we do. As the parent comes into Palm Kia on Saturday, September 6th, we're going to be there from 9 to 1 with one of our all-digital photograph and fingerprint machines. Takes 60 seconds or less, believe it or not, to get a full set of prints, digital photo, and print out what's called a bio document. The parents will take this lifetime safety record home. They'll update it once a year with a color photo. The reverse side of this form has safety tips for kids from 3 on up to teenagers, and quite frankly, that's the most important part of the form. 80% of the parents in the United States currently do not have a family safety action plan, and we put that together for them.
Man, and when you hear these horror stories about the child, do you remember those two girls up in, I don't know where it was, but they were Amish girls, and they were lured into the car they had a puppy?
This happened a week and a half ago.
Yep. Yeah. Isn't that? I mean, what's wrong with the world? How it just, it's that kind of thing that you say, gosh, I'd like to believe that 99% of the people are good, and maybe that is an accurate number.
So I'm going to tell you, that's funny that you should say that, because when I do a speaking engagement, which I just did one yesterday, I start my talk with, I'd like to welcome the 99% to the room. That's
oh, really?
Comment. Yeah. So you are on the money. But here's the problem. Less than 1% of the people in this world they're out networking the parents. And here's what they do. They have all day to figure out how to steal your car, take your stuff, and or harm your child. So depending on what their weapon of choice is, as they say. So with that said, we, the 99%, are strolling through life, going to the soccer game, talking to our friends, but we're forgetting one major thing. We're forgetting to arm our kid with the knowledge so that when that less than 1% is plotting, they can have a real-world comeback. And I'll give you one real quick if you want to hear it.
Yeah, I definitely do, yeah.
I'm going to cut it short, but here's basically what a 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old needs. You said look for the puppy. Well, real quick, what happened was years ago was stranger danger. Well, stranger danger doesn't work. Didn't work then, by the way, but it certainly doesn't work now because 80% of the crimes committed against children are by people they know or perceive they know. Then the type that you discussed, in the late 80s into the 90s, they did a thing called scenario-based training, and that was don't look for a puppy, don't do this, Uncle Joey's safe, so-and-so you can't go with. Well, let me tell you, I'm already past a 5-year-old's memory, and you're putting the burden of child safety on a 5-year-old instead of on you, the parent.
Yeah, right.
So that never worked. So here's what does work. Our number one tip is also the number one tip of the FBI, and it's a thing called check first. In a nutshell, here's what you teach those young Amish girls, you teach your child, younger kids. Anyone approaches you, whether you know them or you don't, don't go anywhere, take anything, do anything. Immediately, as fast as you can, run to the adult in charge and check first. If they can just remember check first, that car would have pulled up to those two Amish girls. They would have said, hey, come here and help us with our puppy. They would have immediately known they had to check first, and they would have run to the adult in charge.
Right.
It would have been thwarted. So that is the number one tip. Adult in charge at school is the teacher. Adult at home, let's face it, the village is raising the kids now with two people working. Could be grandma, grandpa, could be babysitter. Always the adult in charge, always check first. You can teach a 5-year-old, and I'm going to tell you, it thwarts almost every single possibility. So there's stuff out there. Yeah,
I'm guessing that's the kind of thing that when it works, we never hear about it, which I've always said this. It's like, I'm sure, like there was a story about police down in Tampa thwarting a major terrorist event that never made the news, except for that little blurb that they did that. And I'm thinking, wow, this morning, the news could be so horrible, but these heroes going uncelebrated, just saved many, many lives.
Yep.
And that is exactly what you're talking about. We need to take a little break, and I kind of hate interrupting what you're saying, but I want to come back and continue this because I want the people to know where to go. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be partly sunny today with a thunderstorm in spots, mainly during the afternoon hours over the interior sections. The high 88 at the beaches, 94 inland, and partly cloudy tonight with a shower or thunderstorm in spots, low 71 inland, 77 on the beaches. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, the high 90 to 95. And for Saturday, partly sunny with an afternoon thunderstorm, high 90 to 94. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
It's time for fun, fellowship, and firearms. That's right, the 22nd annual Silver River Friends of the NRA Dinner is coming Thursday, September 4th, and you can get tickets to join us at the Marion County Ag Center by calling 352-239-0711. Help out ROTC, 4-H, and other charitable causes here in Marion County by joining us. Call 352-239-0711.
Cookies, 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 cookies. We go
When you
cookie
want something
eating
special and fun for any occasion, get cookies. That's right. The Great American Cookie Company in the Paddock Mall, Ocala will make a delicious, fun-filled delight just for you. You might notice that I said fun and delicious more than once. That's because I can't say it enough. The next time you're at the mall, be sure and stop by or call 352-237-2557 to place your order.
Cookies, cookies,
Yum.
cookies, cookies. We go cookie eating cookies.
The Great American Cookie Company.
What you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Even one late night makes us look less healthy and much less attractive to others. Get some sleep, sit up straight, and we're good to go. The toilet seat is probably the cleanest thing you'll touch in a public restroom. What you talk about at a meal, much more important than what you eat. Draw people out by asking everybody for the high point and low point of their day. We used to call them highs and lows at my family dinner.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Hey, I'm Gary.
And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
Yep, we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too, huh?
Well, as a matter of fact, join me every Monday at 10 for auto repair with personal care here on The Source.
Of course you do.
All right, 18 minutes after 10 o'clock, Mark Bott is on the phone. He's been telling us about what he does to make sure that children are a little bit more prepared than they might have otherwise been, simply with a few easy things that we can all do. And there's an event happening here in Ocala on September 6th from 9 till 1 at Palm Kia Chevy on Southwest College Road, State Road 200, not too far from where we're broadcasting, as a matter of fact. Mark, thank you for waiting through the break.
Sure, absolutely.
I wanted to ask you something. We all have cameras. We can probably go get a fingerprint kit. What's the difference between doing it ourselves and going to an event like this?
Well, I'll tell you. The problem is this. Parents are not certified fingerprint technicians, and this is kind of guesswork, but I've had, I work with a lot of law enforcement people. I work with a lot of fingerprint technicians, and probably somewhere in the range of 85% or higher of the prints that are done by an amateur at a weekend event, we call them smash-ons, where they take their finger and smash it on a card.
Yeah,
they're not even usable. So the parent's walking out with a bad product. They're walking out with an unusable product, and they're going to have the biggest disappointment in their life if they ever need a comparison. So, with that said, what we're bringing into Ocala, and I'm not just screaming out that we're better, but this is our 13th year, and let me tell you, 13 years ago, I didn't have all the answers either, and maybe I don't now, but I can tell you this. We're bringing in the same unit that the FBI and Secret Service use. It'll digitally photograph and fingerprint a child in 60 seconds or less. No ink, no film, no mess, and if the child is 1 year and older, I guarantee you 10 perfect prints. It's that simple.
All right, and all we have to do is show up. You already mentioned that it was free. Is there anything, and I know this is the superficial part of this interview, but is there anything like balloons or hot dogs or anything?
Oh, are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Wait till you hear this has got to be our top event in ages. They're doing a food and supply drive for interfaith emergency services.
Oh.
They have a list of things they'd like you to bring. And again, it's not mandatory, but I think the community is going to step forward here. All you do is go to palmchevykia.com, and you can click a little PDF, and it's got all the stuff that Interfaith Emergency Services need. They also are doing booths with fitness challenges, health and organic food, stress busters, home and personal security. I mean, they've gone all the way out. Plus, the whole Palm staff is grilling out burgers and dogs, prizes for kids, discount coupons like up to $500 off on different vehicles and things, all kinds of stuff. And again, it's not a sell car day. That's not what it is. But Palm Kia, what I love is they get it. They do something for the community every month. They're giving back to a community that's made you successful. And I'll tell you what, when you give, you get. So I'm sure it will enhance their business, and they sure deserve it.
And tell me again what the parents take with them. Is it a card like in the old days, a card with the photo and the fingerprint in it?
It's a BioDoc. It's an 8.5 by 11 heavyweight card document. It's going to have the digital photo and prints on one side, an area to update it with a color photo there. On the back, it's going to have safety tips for kids from 3 on up to teenagers that we have really, really done a lot of work on to make sure that we give you enough to start a family safety action plan.
And when a person has this document, then God forbid if something happens to their child, all they have to do is give this document to the local law enforcement, and they'll be able to recreate it. And
they know exactly what to do with it. At that time, I'm a big privacy believer, but at that time, if you've got a family emergency, you would hand that document to law enforcement with absolutely no hesitation, and then they can scan those prints into what's called NCIC, which is the National Crime and Information Computer, and within 5 minutes, they can have it in squad cars. I mean, it's just that advanced now. So your local police, 20 years ago, this was all new science to them. Today, they are the leaders in this industry, along with the FBI. And I hate to call it an industry, but it's a safety net.
Right,
and again,
right.
And again, the Amber Alert is something I spent 2 years of volunteer time going around the country pushing that initiative, and it passed. Unfortunately, many laws that could protect kids have not passed.
And there are probably a lot of stories of children who were rescued because of the Amber Alert. And I'm wondering, has technology enabled the Amber Alert? Because I should know this, but I don't. I mean, we only know the Amber Alert through the emergency alert system.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll tell you, my phone is a track phone, so I don't really have the smartphone that everybody else has. But I mean, could I subscribe to something where when there's an Amber Alert, I would literally get a picture of the missing child?
Yeah, just all you do is just go on and Google Amber Alert. There's all different types of agencies that will send you a note that pick up on that. It's pretty scattered, but it is available in many locations. You can pick that up probably on the internet and figure that out. But I will say this. Here's what the most important part of the Amber Alert. Once the Amber Alert is put out, all the media, all law enforcement, many of the public start putting, like the Amber Alert was named after Amber Hagerman, who was abducted and murdered in Dallas in the 90s. And the fourth town meeting that I did, I was in Dallas, and her parents were in the front row. And it was the night, listen to this, it was the night that they stood up and said, we've got an idea. We want to start a thing called the Amber Alert named after our daughter. And the one comment that always has resonated through me is her father said, I can't believe my daughter's life was more important than a Rolling Stones song. Ow. That drove me insane. And what he really was saying was, listen, when a child's missing, we all got to be on board. Media, law enforcement, the public, everyone's got to be on board, because in Dallas that day, if everybody would have heard about this, had there been an Amber Alert at that time, they had a decent description of the perpetrator and his vehicle. There would have been 2.5 million sets of eyes potentially looking for him. Probably would have found him. So yeah, you're right. The Amber Alert continues to put a net around people and catch them. And there's many stories where the person has just dropped the kid out the other side of the door when he heard himself on the radio.
Well, that's exactly what happened with those Amish children.
Yeah, they dropped them off. They knew they were done.
Right. They heard the news reports and they got scared, which was the best thing. Yeah. Wow.
Isn't it funny? Not funny. Isn't it absolutely sickening that their mind works to the point that the only thing that bothered them was getting caught, not the act itself?
Absolutely. Boy, that is really true.
That's why they invented a ball bat. Sorry about that.
I agree.
I wanted to give you a little flavor before I go.
No question about it. Well, I love what you're doing, Mark. And
thank you.
And thank you for doing it. Now, I want to ask you something. You're doing this event. If somebody else wanted a similar event in their community, is there a way for them to get a hold of you to do this? And the reason I'm asking, I went to the website, kidsafeprints.com.
Right.
It says event sponsor package, and then it says you got to enter your password. So I ran into a wall. But what I'm looking for is now I'm not, because I work for a radio station, and we don't exactly have a lot of traffic here. But let's say the mall wanted to have an event.
What we do. The reason that's blocked, by the way, real quick, is a lot of areas are closed. We have a sponsor that does it every year, and we don't ever want to disappoint anybody by having them send in a sign-up form only to call them back and go, sorry, you can't have it.
Oh, okay.
So what we do, there's a little thing where you just send in for information. It says click here to get more information on an event, and then we screen the area first to make sure that it's open, and then we would send information back to somebody. But yeah, just go to our website, and we have a couple different websites, but the best one to remember, the easiest, is 1KidSafe.com. The numeral 1KidSafe.com. Everybody can remember that. 1KidSafe.com.
All right. And I feel like the name is similar to the one that Polaroid did with us, but you said 13 years ago, and I know our event was way longer ago than that. So I don't know.
Kid Care.
It was something like that.
It was Kid Care.
Kid Care. Oh, and this is KidSafe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, Robin remembers everything.
Yeah. Well, if you're saving kids, you got to put the word "kid" in there somewhere. So there's a bunch of them. There's Identikit. There's all different kinds.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? And all of them, most of them, I will say, certainly are doing a wonderful job. They're reaching out just like we are. Our goal is a little more depth. I'm more interested in the safety tips and starting the family safety action plan. Fingerprints are not the only thing that are going to save your child. Okay, but I will tell you this: you've heard of Megan's Law, right?
Yes, I'm not really sure.
Megan's Law, and I'm going to tell you, you can go online right now and you can see every sex offender in your area in Florida. You can pull that up online and see that. Megan's Law made that legal and possible. I worked on that committee with Maureen Kanka again in the 90s.
Okay.
And her daughter Megan was abducted and murdered by a neighbor who was a repeat sex offender. And she said, I should have known he was there. She did not have prints on her daughter, and her daughter's prints were all over his property, and he stated early on in the investigation that she had never been there. Had Maureen had prints like ours, they would have immediately called him out.
Wow.
And who knows the outcome? I do know the outcome, by the way, and it was not good. So
I want to make sure we add one thing in the talking points that were sent to us, and the thing we haven't mentioned yet is that while we keep saying kids, this could be for an adult who's like somebody with Down syndrome or somebody who's got right, that kind of person.
Absolutely. This is open to the public. Special needs adults. This is good for kids from 1 year and up. If a mom wants to have it done, it's totally free and totally private for anybody. And just as a reminder, it's going to be at Palm Kia. Big shout out to their organization for doing this. More information is available at PalmChevyKia.com. PalmChevyKia.com. Our system is going to be there Saturday, September 6th from 9 to 1, totally free, totally private. They're doing a food drive and about 15 other booths and things and stuff they're doing, and all of that is free and private. The police and fire departments are going to be there. It is going to be a shindig.
Don't let the 1% win.
Absolutely.
And I don't mean
99.
Yeah, the 99% in this case is not the 9. In the what is it called? Occupy Wall Street people, they also have the 99 and 1. We're not talking about that 1%.
No.
If it was, it would be easy to catch them because they're very visible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Take care of that.
Yeah, the 1% of the people who just don't want to do anything good for anybody but would rather hurt people. Mark, you are at the top of the 99%. You are outstanding. Yeah. This project is unbelievably beautiful. I hope nobody ever needs to use the information, but if you do, the life of a child, the safety of a child will be protected. Thank you, Mark.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Good stuff. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. There's word that another American has died fighting along militants in the same battle that killed radicalized American Douglas MacArthur McCain.
The family of Abdirahman Muhammad, sources say, have been shown photos proving